Arizona is now the best state to live in if you want absolute freedom for your kids' education. Arizona passed a bill through the House and the Senate that empowers parents to have school choice for their children. First things first, this is not actually a law until the governor signs it.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill.
Now, by the time you're watching this video, he may have already signed it, but it passed the House, it passed the Senate, and once Doug Ducey signs the bill,
He signed your bill, now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
then it becomes a law. For more information on when that happens, we strongly recommend that you go to azed.gov/ESA. On this webpage, you can get information directly from the source or sign up for a newsletter to get that information sent to your email inbox. The bottom line with this bill is it allows families to choose the best education for their needs, regardless of income or zip code. This is done through an educational scholarship account, an ESA. So let's start with one of the most commonly asked questions that I get on this. I thought ESAs were exclusive to certain people or certain situations. And you're right, ESAs were exclusive. This bill now opens it up for basically every student in the state of Arizona. Essentially, this is the person who qualifies. A qualified student includes a resident of this state who both is eligible to enroll in a public school in this state in any of the following: a preschool program or children with disabilities, a kindergarten program, any grades 1 through 12, and does not otherwise qualify for an Arizona Empowerment Scholarship account pursuant to this chapter, meaning all the other things that the ESA program used to have as a qualified student. Here's the bottom line. If your child is eligible to go to a public school, kindergarten through high school, they qualify. Which leads to the next common question. Isn't this money going to be taken from people who are already using it or people who need it most? First off, the people that were using these scholarship accounts prior to this bill passing all still qualify. They still get the same amount of money in the same situation that they were in before. Secondly, this is not taking money from public schools. There's actually data and several statistics that show that this program actually empowers public schools to do more. One thing that's important to understand is that this bill is not just a change in policy, but it's also a change in the budget. The reason why we care about what's going on with public schools is we want to make sure all the kids in that school or in that school district get taken care of. What this bill does ensures that the money follows the student. This bill funds students, not systems. Moreover, here's what the data says. Anytime a student leaves a public school system for the ESA program, the ESA program actually is benefiting that school a net of $600 per student. This means that these students not only have money that follows them based on the education their parents want to create for them, but anytime somebody uses the ESA program, that public school or school district that that student was assigned to also benefits financially. You guys, this is a win for both sides of the aisle. And if that information isn't enough, this bill has a companion measure that adds $400 million back into the public school system. As I said, this is more than a policy change. This is a budget change. Here's a reality. With all of the COVID stuff, many of us as parents have discovered different things about the school or the school system that our kids were going to. And this leaves us as parents wanting to create something different. This program empowers all parents to be able to do something different for their kids. Look, maybe you wanted to send your kids to a private school or wanted to homeschool them and provide for them a different experience, but finances were an issue. Now, the government is stepping up to help ensure you have financial assistance to create the education that you think is best for your kids. Here's how it works. You apply for the account, you receive the money from the government in that account, and then you can spend it on qualified educational expenses. Which now leads to the question, well, what are the qualified educational expenses? Well, I strongly urge all of you to read the bill. To be honest, this is probably one of the easiest pieces of legislation I've ever read in my life. It's very easy to understand and not super intimidating at all. And in the bill, there's a long list of all the things that qualify as expenses for these types of accounts. Here are a few things just off the top of my head. Private school tuition, homeschool educational expenses like computers, curriculum, books, transportation for folks who need help or a ride getting to the school that they really want to go to. And those are just a few. This bill covers a whole bunch more of expenses that you can get paid for through this ESA account. But I strongly recommend that you go to the bill directly and read for yourself what's a qualified expense and what is not. Another common question that I get is this: can I stack the ESA money with ACSTO? If you're not familiar with ACSTO or STO programs, I'll leave a link to that below. Essentially, it's another state tax program that lowers the burden to parents who want to send their kids to private schools. So naturally, people are asking, well, can I stack the ACSTO program with the ESA program? The answer is no. If you're going to send your kids to private school, you have to choose one or the other. So to help you answer which one you should do, well, it depends. Which one will you get more money with? If you could get more money with ACSTO, obviously stick with that program. If you can get more money with ESA, obviously you're going to want to go that route. As a pro tip, you don't have to have all of your kids do ACSTO or all of your kids do ESA. So if you have 2 kids, you can try ACSTO with one of those children and then ESA with the other. But either way, ESA is a great option, another option for parents to consider when they're looking for financial support to send their kids to private school. And I've talked about costs, so that's another question I get. How much money am I going to get if I apply for the ESA program? Well, I've seen a lot of different estimates out there, and that's what they are right now. They're just estimates. But it looks like it's going to be around $7,000 per kid per year. And this leads me to the last question that I'm going to answer, which is when? When can you apply for the money and when can you receive it to create a better education for your child? It's still unknown the date that people will be able to apply for these ESA funds. I've seen estimates that say we'll be able to start applying in September of 2022. However, the bill does have a retroactive clause. As a matter of fact, it's the last line in the bill. I'll read it to you now. This act applies retroactively to, from, and after June 30th, 2022. What does that mean? Any expenses that you had that are qualified expenses under this bill, you could probably get reimbursed retroactively. But again, for the actual details and to stay up to date, head on over to that website. Here's something that I've discovered when I'm talking about this on social media. This issue of school choice is extremely political. Now, most people are responding to this. They're excited. They're happy. They're asking lots of questions to figure out, man, how can I use this to create the best education for my child? But every once in a while, I'll have people comment that are just leaving scathing negative things. You want to know something that's weird? Most of the people who do leave those negative comments have never read the bill. And the reason why I know they haven't read it is because they're leaving comments of things that have nothing to do with this bill, or the bill itself addresses the specific thing they're upset about. And that's what I want to urge all of you to do. Read the bill. Whether you're fully in agreement with school choice or you are fully against it, read the bill. Don't be one of those people who takes actions and comments or thinks a certain way just because of political ideology. Think for yourself. Read the bill and determine if you agree with it or if it meets all of the things that you want for our home state. In summary, HB 2853 allows families to choose the best educational option that fits their needs, regardless of income or zip code. You guys, I am very excited. I'm excited for my kids. I'm excited for your kids. I'm excited for the future of the children that live here in Arizona. And here's the thing, not everybody knows about this or really knows how they could take advantage of it. So please share this video with other parents so they too can get excited about the educational options they now have for their kids.